What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be taking a look at the Mouser Sphynx gaming mouse pad. This is a smoother control style pad coming in at an affordable price. But is this going to be the perfect gaming mouse pad for you? Let's check it out. Before we get started, I did want to let you know this was sent out by Mouser. However, everything you'll be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. And the dimensions are coming in at 450 millimeters in width by 450 millimeters in height. I don't know the exact thickness of this. It is a little bit on the thinner side. I do believe it comes in at 3 millimeters in thickness. It features a rubberized base with this texture on it, and it feels pretty sticky to me. Again, I never really have issues sticking any of these styles of mouse pads to my various desks, but this does feel like it's a little bit more sticky to me than some of the pour-on base style pads. And though this is a rubberized base, there is still some plushness to it, so you can push into it pretty nicely. The stitching that goes all the way around the edges does look like it was done nicely, and it does sit about at level with the surface. It is kind of this thicker style stitching, and if you were to rub your fingers across it left to right, you do kind of feel a little bit of a texture there. If you are somebody who likes to lay your forearm completely flat when you're using your mouse pad, you can kind of notice it there and feel it on your forearm. For me personally, the way that I game, I kind of almost arch my forearm up just a little bit, so I didn't notice it all with my gameplay and it didn't seem to bother me. But that is something that I did notice that I wanted to bring up to you guys. They do have their logo down here in the bottom right hand corner, and it looks like it's printed on so you don't feel it raised up or anything like that on the surface. And when it comes to the surface, this is one of those very smoother control style filling pads that have been coming out recently. It does have a very silky smooth feeling to it. Now it does feel very smooth left to right, and even though it's smooth going on the y-axis, you do feel a little bit of a texture there. But as I was using it in game, it really does feel really smooth to the touch on your skin. And the performance you're going to get on the surface is an incredibly controlled glide overall. Now it is a little bit quicker if you're to use something like smaller dot skates or something like that, but all around I would definitely classify this as a mud pad. You have a very controlled high dynamic friction the entire time that you're making your swipe across the surface. And if you were to push down in here, it does start to get really muddy. But one thing I do feel like that this firmness of this rubber base does add to the performance is it does feel like it does have a pretty low static friction overall compared to some of the other muddier style pads that I've used before. So the performance of this honestly feels really good and really smooth, but just know that you are going to be getting a very controlled and almost muddy glide when you're using this thing. It is going to feel faster if you're using these solid harsher style skates, but if you are using these Virgin PTFE, the transparent style skates, overall, as you can see here, it's a very slow and control glide. But if you're to use something like the dot skates, it still is going to be the overall same performance, but as you can see there, you definitely get much more of a glide out of the overall surface of the pad, whereas the bigger the skates are and the softer they are, you're just going to get overall just a slower and more controlled experience all around. So to demonstrate how the speed actually stacks up and what it kind of compares to, I'll show you something like the Zowie G-SR II. All around, the Sphynx does feel like a more controlled option with having a higher static and dynamic friction. So let's just go ahead and drop the glide test so you can see what I'm talking about when comparing the Sphynx to the Zowie G-SR II. I hate to use this as a comparison because this is such a brand new pad, and I know not a lot of people have had experience with it, but when it comes to the overall surface, like I said, the Sphynx having a much smoother type of a surface, I really do feel like these are some of the new style pads that are coming out, like with the InfinityMice, their control option with that Wisal surface. So all of these have that really smooth feeling, but the performance of the Sphynx, it is definitely has a little bit more of the static and the dynamic friction. It does feel a little bit slower, and again, it just has a little bit more muddy properties. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I'd already did a video talking about the Shogun and the InfinityMice Control, and the one thing is really that I feel like the Sphynx kind of sits in the middle of both of them in terms of the overall performance, with the Shogun all around just feeling quicker than the Sphynx. So let's go and drop the speed comparison between these two really quick. All right, and just for a comparison, throwing it up here against the brand new InfinityMice Control, this is the V2 version. Again, all around, the Sphynx just feels like it's a little quicker, whereas the InfinityMice Control has a greater sense of both static and dynamic friction all around, feeling slower just even on the micro adjustments and the overall glide. So let's go ahead and throw up the speed comparison between both of these two. Alright guys, so that about wraps things up on the Mouser Sphynx. All around, coming in at the price this comes in at, I saw on their website, I believe it is in Canadian dollars, coming in at about $29.99. I really do feel like the price is great. I actually was gaming on this a lot in Call of Duty, and I really do feel like this is a great performer when it comes to the actual usability of the surface. It seemed to work great for me. It didn't seem to be too muddy, but at the same time offered a really solid sense of control. So if that's something you're looking for and you care about the surface, and you're looking for one of these smoother style surfaces that doesn't really bother your skin too much, I would definitely say that the Mouser is a great option to look into. Alright guys, so if you have any questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know down in the comments below. If you've enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.